Hi, hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Hannah. His name is Milo. I thought... I can't do this. He literally just farted too. You can't do it. Lay down. Okay, just don't pull my shirt down. It's already very limited. Alright, wow. This is going so well. Ah! Fuck. Today I wanted to do something just like a little different and chat about something that I feel like doesn't want to be chatted about much. It's the subject of mental health. Woo. So I thought it would be fun today to do a point of view, You're My Journal. And I just want to talk about this year, mental health, battling and coping, winning and losing. I just thought it would be kind of cool and kind of different to treat you like my journal, but a lot more filtered. A lot more filtered. It's okay. I'm not going that drastic. So yeah, so in today's video, I'm just gonna talk about the year that I've had because it's not been a good one. Given that it's the end of the year, I figured it would be a good time to reflect and sit down and just chat and hang out. Milo is joining us on this talk, and so let's get into it. Just in case anybody's wondering, this is the vibe. This is the vibe. Mwah. I love him so much. Oh my goodness. Oh, I just love him. You're so photogenic. You know that? You know that you're photogenic? So for this video, I actually made a list for once, like what I wanted to touch on. Stop licking everything. Okay. I feel like this video is kind of an important and different one, so I just wanted to make sure that I touch on everything that I wanted to touch on. So to start off, I figured just speaking generally about mental health is probably an important aspect to include in this video. I think everybody struggles with it. I struggle with it, obviously. I just think it's okay to talk about, and it shouldn't be something to be ashamed of, embarrassed of. Everybody's different with how they handle it. It's okay to have hard times and not always be alright. I hate the stigma around it. I'm happy that it seems to be getting a lot better. It's getting talked about a lot more, but I know growing up, not even knowing that mental health was a thing, not knowing anxiety was a name, let alone a thing, until I was at least 12 or 13. It's tough. I think I'm just really glad that it's being talked about a lot more. I hope it just continues to kind of get better from here. Just know that if you struggle, I think that actually makes you normal. If you don't struggle, what the fuck? I just wanted to like get that out of the way. Just know that this is a safe space and you're okay. As it is December, currently we're about 2 weeks away from Christmas. It also is a time of year that is so overhyped. You're supposed to be happy and with loved ones and family. I think something that doesn't get talked about is how that stigma around the holidays can really affect somebody that's maybe not having a good year and a good holiday season, especially for those that have lost loved ones. That is such a challenge, something that I am sort of going through myself right now. It's hard, and I think that impacts somebody's mental health a little bit more because they're like, you know, I should be happy, I should be doing this and this, and watching like your friends or people on social media doing a bunch of fun holiday spirit things, and you're like sitting in bed crying or just like numb and upset or depressed or anxious or whatever it may be. So I also wanted to touch on the fact that if you're alone this holiday season, just know that you're not alone. We can all be alone together. You're not alone, even if you think you are. And I hope that if you're having a hard time this holiday season, you know, just know that there's more to come. This one might not be your best, but eventually you'll have ones that are so much better and so much happier. Maybe just take this time to reflect on the holidays that you did really love, even if it was when you were 6 years old. Remember that more good times are going to come. So with that stuff aside, on to the main topic of this video, which is 2023 and what it's been for me. I don't even really know where to start. From the get-go, it was a tough one. It had a lot of ups and downs, like, and still is having that. Like, it's not done. Just because it's December and January is like next month doesn't mean it's done. This is going to continue into 2024. I think we put a lot of pressure on the number of the year, especially New Year's, and changing ourselves and doing better, and then we just like get really hella depressed come February when we failed. And it's like, we'll try again next year. So I don't know. This year was a lot. It was a huge mix of things. First, I'll touch on the more not great stuff so that I can then lift it back up with some of the good stuff. So some of the things that I struggled with the most this year, definitely regular anxiety, depression. That is something that I just struggle with in general. And so every year it kind of makes things a little tough, a little difficult. I also have started dealing with newer problems. So grief and loss is one of them, which is extremely hard. Something that I knew would always come eventually, but always dreaded and kind of put on the back burner. Obviously, I didn't want to think about that. Now, you know, that it's kind of come and it's like in your face and you can't ignore it as much as you'd like. It's tough. This is my first loss of a loved one. They have not passed yet. It's really, I think, one of the worst ways you can lose somebody is watching them slowly go. That's been something that I've been dealing with for the last year and a half. Of course, it just gets worse. This is one of the scenarios where unfortunately it does not get better. That's been one of the most challenging things in the last year and a half, especially this year too. So this year has been a very up and down battle with that, and kind of learning how to navigate that and navigate grief and loss for the first time ever in my life. I'm very fortunate to be 23 years old and have never had to deal with that. I know plenty of people where, you know, they've had to experience way too many losses in their lifetime. My heart just goes out to anybody that is going through anything similar or has lost somebody, and especially with the holidays coming around, and when they do, because they're gonna keep coming around, and it's always gonna feel a little empty, you know? So that's been one of the newer things that I've been dealing with, and let's just say some days I do a lot better with it than others. I don't really cope with it in a healthy way. I like to be completely honest. I just kind of act like it's not happening. If I act like it's happening, it kind of just breaks me a little too much, and I just don't want to let myself deep dive down someplace that I don't need to go yet. You know, when the time comes and I truly have to grieve it, then that's when I'll grieve it. But for right now, I'm just thankful that the person is still in my life to an extent, and just kind of take that for what it is. But I also don't like seeing them. I don't like watching them rot away. That's the worst part. And, you know, I know a lot of people's mentality is, you know, like if you don't see somebody before they go, like you're gonna regret it. That's probably true. For me, my mentality is I don't want my last memories of them to be who they are now. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I don't know if that's the healthiest way of coping with it or not. My therapist understands, but no comment from them, so we don't know. I think everybody has to deal with this in their own way, and that's something that I'm kind of having to discover, I suppose. Yeah, so kudos to that one. That one's just a gem. Going along with the grief and loss is heartbreak. That's something that I've experienced a shit ton this year for multiple different reasons, but obviously relationship wise for the most part. I would say, you know, probably the last 2 years it's been kind of heartbreaking, but this year especially, given that the heart was officially broken. Yeah, no, it's something new. It happens. I don't have much advice on it because I'm genuinely still going through it. I'm learning a lot about myself, how I am in relationships, what I like, what I don't like. I think, you know, as painful as it was to go through what I went through, it is a learning curve. I'm just trying to take that and go with it rather than be really sad and cry into my pillow every night. So those are the main things that I've struggled with a lot this year. I would say between the loss or losing of a loved one and then the heartbreak, that really spiked my anxiety and depression. They teeter-totter a lot. I think maybe a little bit more depression than anxiety, especially lately. I typically kind of go downhill around the holidays, especially this year and last year, again, with that loss. And so it is a huge challenge and something that I'm literally struggling with right fucking now. Like, it's not like I'm cured and better and I know all the answers. That is so not the case. I at least want to be here to say, like, hey, I've gone through X, Y, and Z. I'm sure you've gone through numerous things yourself, and everybody has their own stories. And again, like, repeating what I said earlier, I just want this to be a safe space and to know that you're not alone. That's kind of what this video is for, and also just reflecting. And you're my journal, so you have to listen to me. So, going from the negative stuff, I want to touch on the happier things. It's an entire 365 days. You're not gonna have a bad day every single day. Did I maybe enjoy 5 days out of this year? Sure. But that's better than, like, nothing. So yeah, moving on from the more sad stuff, I wanted to touch also on the more positive things, because not every single day of this year was traumatic and bad and sad. It was actually filled with a lot of happy memories. I figured I would talk about that as well. I think a lot of times you kind of want to like make it very black and white and like, this year was the worst year of my life. But then you're like, wait, but it's like some really good stuff happened. I'm having to tell myself this. I'm having to remind myself that while this year had incredible amount of challenges in so many ways, it also was filled with like actually a lot of good shit. I met some new people. You know, it's just nice to have more friends in your life and be able to socialize more. I love that. I love getting out and doing things. I did skating competitions. I did a lot of travel, which is like the highlight of my year. I think I hadn't traveled in quite some time and it was amazing getting out. I went to the mountains several times. I just went to New York. I went to Charleston, going on all these trips and exploring, going to Airbnbs. I love Airbnbs so much. I just love feeling like I have a home outside of a home. I just think it's so much fun. It was just so awesome. Like all the things that I got to do this year and experience and explore, just feel like getting out of your situation and your environment and like your regular day to day is so helpful and truly saved me this year. Some other good things about this year, I made a list that I remembered. So the last thing that I kind of just wanted to throw in there for fun that happened this year that was good was I adopted 2 cats. They are bonded brothers. They are little orange boys. I'll put some photos in here. And they are fat and old and I love them to death. There's Dallas and there's Dasani. I'm in love and I got them early January, so coming on a year anniversary with these little hooligans that eat way too much food. I love them so much and I am so happy that I got them. So we are a family of 4. Not me actually counting on my fingers right now how many pets I have and then me to make sure that it was actually a family of 4. So I put together a little list of ways that I myself this year and that have helped me a lot, and I wanted to share them with you. One thing that I really like to remind myself is that life is ever changing, so that means that you don't have a sad life and you don't have to grieve the fact that you don't have a happy life. Nobody has just a happy life, just a sad life. You just have a life. It's mixed with a million different things. That's just helpful for me to keep in mind when I hit those lows and I'm just like, I'm gonna be sad forever. Like here I am sad again. Here I am like going through something again. And then I'll kind of just fight it almost and be upset that I'm struggling again, and that's actually okay and normal. So I think that if you can keep that mentality, especially when you hit those lows, it could be helpful. So some of the ways that I find helpful to remember this mentality are gratitude lists. This is something that I started maybe like a year or 2 ago whenever I got the 5-minute journal. I think it was up in New York, and it obviously has a gratitude list, and it's just literally like I think 3 things that, you know, you're thankful for. And it's so simple. Ever since I got Milo, he's been on that list because I'm grateful for him every single day. You know, I'll think of just the smallest of things. Like I'm thankful that I get to feel the sun on my skin today. I'm grateful for the warmth of the blankets on my bed right now as I'm writing this early in the morning and it's cold. It's just remembering that you are grateful for things whether you think you are or not at times, and you will always have something to be grateful for. You just might have to look a little smaller. It's so small, but it actually goes a long way, and that's something that I've really enjoyed and incorporated a lot. The other one that I kind of came up with myself, at least I think I did. If it's from somewhere else, I didn't know. I'm not taking ownership of this, but it's a list of things that made me smile today. So it's very, very similar to a gratitude list, but instead it's reflecting on your day and being like, okay, what made me smile today? You might think like, you know, nothing made me smile today, blah, blah, blah. It is so unrealistic for you not to smile at least once in a day. It could be at the smallest of things. It could be at a cute dog that you see walking down the street while you're driving, and take that, put it down, and reflect on what made you smile and why it made you smile. Going further from that, if you kind of get into the routine of writing those lists, you start to kind of have more of a mentality during your day, and when you have those smiles during the day, make little mental notes. Be like, hey, I'm smiling right now. That's a win. What am I smiling at? How am I feeling? You know, what's making me smile? All of those things, and just make a mental note. You can kind of appreciate it like more if you're mentally thinking about, hey, I'm actually smiling right now. So I think like my biggest takeaway is, even if you're not smiling, just take mental notes throughout your days of just anything that made you feel good. It can be so small, but it goes really far, and you kind of start to discover things that bring you comfort and bring you peace and joy and whatever it may be. You can incorporate that a lot more into your day. One thing that I discovered was how much I love the sun on my skin. I discovered it because I started doing this meditation on Headspace. It was envisioning the sun on you and like filling you up, and I couldn't not picture that scene from Tangled where her hair like glows and like fills up Flynn and like heals him or something. I haven't watched that movie in a long time, but that image came to my mind of just her being filled up with light. And I know, weird comparison. The more that I thought about it, the more that I realized like it is such an empowering feeling, especially if you just close your eyes and you're facing the sun, specifically outside if possible, and you genuinely feel it. That sounds really hippie of me to be saying like this stuff, but it really has helped. Kind of just trick my mind and like the world is giving me energy and it's got my back and I'm okay. And I think that's what I get from it. So like I said, it can be so small. It can go really far, and it can be something that you can do, you know, nearly every day. Now the sun isn't promised to be out every single day, but there's so many other things that you can find. Just look for that, find comfort in something, find peace, joy, whatever, and just hang on to it for fucking dear life. My most learned lesson this year is fuck up, try again, fuck up, try again, fuck up, try again. What I mean by that, you will literally always struggle. You will always have bad days, and you will literally always make mistakes. You can't beat yourself to a pulp for that. What you can do is make sure you learn from said lesson. This year, specifically, I think out of anything else, this year has been a year of living and learning for me in not great ways. I think I'm at that age where starting to have experiences and go through things. They're not all good, but have I learned from them? Absolutely yes. Will I repeat those mistakes? No. Literally, you live and you fucking learn. Just know that while, okay, you've learned from that mistake, you're still gonna make another one. What I'm trying to get through is give yourself grace, be gentle with yourself, obviously discipline yourself, okay? Be like, that was stupid, that got me in a bad place, and what can I do to make it better and not repeat that action? That's kind of where I'm going with that. You have to remember, you're not perfect, we're human, and we're gonna do really dumb things. We're gonna pay the consequences, and then we're gonna move on. And then lastly, ultimately, you are going to have those days where it's gonna be bad and you're gonna be at a really big low, whatever that looks like for you. Like, that's just something that you just have to kind of accept. It's gonna happen. I think one thing with mental illness is you're expected to get better, which yes. However, it's something that you're gonna have with you your whole life. It's not just kind of gonna like disappear or go away. Obviously, it varies by person. You will always, to some extent, have that part of you. It's not necessarily bad. I think what people don't understand is anxiety, depression, things like that. They're not actually bad. It's just like sadness is like working overtime. Fear is working overtime. They need redirected sometimes. That can be therapy, medication, whatever. But the whole thing is it's not actually that bad to have have anxiety and depression or like whatever it may be. It's just your brain is doing a little much, like a little bit much. What I'm trying to say is it's okay to have this your whole life. What's not okay is for it to be in the driver's seat your whole life. There's a difference. Now, whether it's in the driver's seat or not, you're still going to have those days where you kind of fail or you hit that rock bottom. I think it's just when you find yourself in those days and in those moments, just cope the best that you can. Take care of yourself the best that you can, even if that's just simply brushing your teeth that day, whatever it may be, whatever your struggles look like for you. You know what it means to cope. You know what it means to get through it. You know what your bad days look like. So reflect on that and have kind of a game plan, a crisis plan, literally ready to go for when those days come, because it's just inevitable. Have yourself kind of ready and prepared for when it does so that you don't have to let it completely alter your life to a point where you have to work maybe harder than you would need to if you had had sort of an action plan ready to go. And I'm not saying that you're gonna have that bad day and you're gonna be like, oh, here's all my ways to cope, like woo. No, odds are if you're in that bad of a headspace, you're not even gonna want to look at that list. You're gonna be like, fuck that list, I don't give a shit. That's not the point. It's just make sure it doesn't go further down than it needs to go, is basically what I'm saying. We don't need to keep going into these like month-long funks, okay? Like a day, 2 days, okay, fine, have your moment. Like, have your moment, girly, it's fine. But then let's get back up. Fuck up, try again, fuck up, try again. So, wrapping up my year and my little 2 cents on mental health, I just want to say that life is hard for everybody. Whether you have a million mental illnesses or one or somehow none, life is still hard, okay? Gas is still way too expensive. There are things that are hard. It's always going to be that way, and it always has been. Remembering the good that's still in this world, even though that is harder to find nowadays, it's still there. I promise. I've been looking for it and I have found it. Make sure, out of anything, to just have support. Get yourself help. Don't put yourself to the side. Do not put your mental health to the side. That is never good for you or for anyone around you. There's the excuse of finances, yes, but there's not a ton of excuses to not get help. There's always resources out there, and so many more now, which is amazing. You can get help, and that can be in whatever way it looks like for you, as long as it's healthy and not stupid. I'm watching you. Taking everything day by day is my go-to. A lot of times it's an hour by the hour. You just take it hour by hour, minute by minute, day by day, week by week. You'll get through it. Things will change. Again, life always changes. Again, this is all from my experience, so I am not telling you that what you're doing is wrong, because I do it myself. So these are things that I have to tell myself every fucking day. And then last but not least, going back to it being December and the holiday times, I just want you to know something that I'm also, again, telling myself. You can be enough for you. So let's say you don't have family to be with this year, you don't have friends to be with, you're not surrounded by a bunch of people, right? That's okay. It's a little shitty. It is. We're not going to be in denial enough to say that it's not kind of shitty. It is. That doesn't mean you have to feel super shitty about it. You don't have to do that. Buy yourself some Christmas gifts. Wrap them up, put them in a fucking bag, and then you have something that you know you'll like on Christmas. And if you're anything like me, you'll probably forget some of the things you bought for yourself, and you'll literally excite yourself, and it's just like phenomenal. I am personally doing that this year. I've bought myself some Christmas gifts. Some of it I'm kind of punishing myself because I'm like, I shouldn't have bought that, so I have to wait to get it. I'm just saying, get yourself a fucking card and write yourself a note. I did that on my birthday this year. It is so weird. I know it's so odd for me too, doing things like that for myself, but it goes a long way. It's uncomfortable, kind of weird, especially if you struggle with self-love, aka me. It is interesting. It's good interesting. It's just, it does take some getting used to. I swear you should try it if you are alone, or even if you're not, still just fucking do it. Just treat yourself a little bit and treat yourself like you treat your friends, because I'm sure you treat your friends a lot fucking better than you treat yourself. All right, I'm gonna finish it with just, please remember there are so many resources again to reach out to, and you are never truly alone. We can be alone together, okay? You're with me, I'm with you, you got people. There's somebody, something out there for everybody, and you are gonna be okay. We're all gonna be fine. Just tell yourself that, and maybe one day we'll all believe it.
Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm!
I just also want to make clear that it may sound like I have things put together. I don't at all. I'm going through fucking hell right now. And I have been for a while. And again, this entire year, it's been miserable. Okay, it's been awful. But again, you can't see, like, okay, this is a good example because I caught myself there. I just said that this entire year was terrible. That's not true. I'm just forgetting that there were really happy moments. Sometimes the bad tends to want to outweigh the good. And it might, but that doesn't mean that the good didn't happen. Let's all try to remember that. Point being, this is a safe space. If you ever need somebody to talk to, I'm here. My socials are all linked down below. Comment. I'm sure there's other people that would love to be there for you too. We're all in this together. We're all struggling. We're all fighting each day. And we're all probably gonna be okay. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, follow, all of that. If you enjoyed this different style of video, please let me know. It's kind of vulnerable, just like a smidge. So if you enjoyed it, that would be really helpful if you could let me know, and maybe if there's like other things that you want me to touch on. And yeah, feel free to message me on Instagram, anything like that, if you ever need anything. I hope you guys have a lovely holiday. Let's just finish this year out together. Let's just thank the gods that the year's ending so that we can go into another bad one. Okay, bye!